Good morning everyone. I am going to discuss with you how to take history of a patient with a medical problem. It is said that 70% of the diagnosis is made by history and remaining by a focused physical examination and necessary investigations. If you have got around 15 minutes, spend approximately 10 minutes for the initial part of history taking. That underlines the importance of history taking. Sir William Osler, who is considered as father of clinical medicine, he said, the patient is telling you the diagnosis, you listen to them. Learn to see, learn to hear, learn to feel, learn to smell, and you know that by practice you can become an expert. Before starting history taking, we should have a scene which is set for the purpose. Start with the introduction. This can be remembered by a small tip. W stands for wash your hands. So it's essential that before examining a patient you should clean your hands. I stands for introducing to the patient. You tell you are so and so, a third year student or a final year student. I have been asked to see your and take your history. So introduce like that. And next I stands for make sure that the patient is informed about what is going to be done. That is, tell them that you are going to take the history. After that, you will do a physical examination. So that is the next I. P stands for permission. So you ask them or tell them, let me examine you. So there should be a proper consent from the patient. Even the written consent is not required, we should get a verbal or by gesture you should get permission. Next P for the positioning. You should stand on the right side. Here you can see that the person is standing on the left side. Preferably you stand on the right side, that is convention. And see that the patients are placed in the proper position which is most convenient for them. Avoid frequent changing. History taking and examination should be done in such a way that minimum disturbance occurs to the patient. Before going to the proper history taking, we should remember 4 things. Number 1, listen to the patient. Listening is an active process. With your whole body you listen. With your eyes, with the body position, your gestures and body language. That is, you should actively listen to the patient. Avoid too many questions. The patient should not feel that they are in the police station. Try to avoid the number of questions. If at all you are asking questions, it should not be leading questions. Hope you understand what is my leading question. Asking a question so that the answer is yes or no, that is a leading question. For example, have you got headache? The patient has to say either yes or no. Such questions has to be avoided. You should ask open-ended questions. An example of an open-ended question is, have you had anything today morning? No. The patient can have the option to say taken food or which food they have taken. So try to give open questions. What food you have taken? Hope that point is clear. Try to avoid closed questions, yes or no. Next is develop empathy. Empathize with the patient. It is not sympathizing. You try to understand the patient's problem and try to listen to them and respond to them. Then you summarize. After each step, you tell the patient, okay, this is what you are having. And at the end of the history taking, you summarize the whole problem. This is what I have gained from you and these are your problems. And if you have got some investigation results with you, we can tell them, okay, this shows this finding. So such sort of summary to the patient. So take patient into confidence and tell them what you have gained or what are your inference. That is what is called the summarizing. With example, we will discuss this. Next is ICE. I stands for ideas, C stands for concerns, E stands for expectations. So many patients are coming to you with a lot of anxiety. They have had certain prejudices regarding the disease. They may be worried about many things. It may not be the disease that they are worried, may be related to their occupation, their ward study. So we should ask into their ideas, concerns and expectations. These are the 4 things we should be taking into consideration when you are taking the history of a patient. We have already said about the empathy. See the world from the patient's angle. You may have religious, political or other views, but see the world from their angle. Understand their feeling. That doesn't mean that you should also feel sad. You understand. Okay, I agree. I can understand your problems. You can utter like that or show the way by which we can tell them or show them that you are understanding their problem and communicate that you are understanding. Hope that is clear. So, empathizing, feeling somebody's or understanding their feeling and responding. That is empathy. As already mentioned, listen to the patient. There is always a tendency for doctors to ask questions. It has been found that many times within the first minute the doctor interrupts the patient. So try to listen without asking questions, at least in the initial part. And while getting the history, you listen to the feelings also, show the interest. Interest can be shown by the body language. You can lean a little forward, you can look at the patient or turn to the patient a little. So that is why you show the interest. Signal encouragement by repeating the last words of the patient. For example, patient says, yesterday night I had severe chest pain. So you tell, okay, you had chest pain, it was very severe, okay. So that the patient will get an encouragement and tell the history. Always observe the non-verbal behavior, because many times, more than 65 to 75% of the time, rather than words, it is the body language and facial expression that gives more message than what they are telling. So observe for non-verbal cues. For example, somebody with chest pain, with a cardiac pain, they may be just coming and telling, I have got pain here. The way in which the patient shows or the hand is kept or their chest like this indicates that this is a cardiac pain. No further details are required. That is why we should look into the non-verbal behavior. Avoid interruptions and distractions. Try to avoid using the mobile, thinking about something else, talking to others, other people entering the room, etc. should be avoided. And use open-ended questions rather than closed questioning. Only if essential, then we go for a closed-ended question. And finally, before summarizing, you should clarify what the patient means and what you understand are the same. Typical example is a patient may come and say they have got vertigo. Immediately we write it down as vertigo, but actually the patient mean by vertigo might be loss of consciousness. So when a patient says a technical term, always try to explain to the patient, okay, is it this? What do you mean by this? Okay, I hope it is clear. As said earlier, listen with your whole body, leaning little, eye contact, turning head to something and showing your facial expression. All these help to give an impression that you are interested in the patient. Conventionally, usually you sit on the side of the patient. So it's better and easier for the patient to communicate with you when you are sitting on the side of the patient rather than exactly opposite. So position in such a way that you are sitting or standing on the right side. There should not be any barriers in between. Avoid a table between patient and you. So you can see the patient is sitting on the cot and the doctor is sitting on the side. We have already mentioned about if the patient has not come out with their ideas and concerns, at the end you can ask, what do you think? What is the problem? A patient may be coming with a non-cardiac chest pain, but actual their concern may be his father or her father might have died of myocardial infarction, or a friend might have had a heart attack, and they are worried about that. So that is why what they feel and what are their concerns should be asked for. Another patient with a cancer, they may be knowing about the cancer, but their concern and their worries are regarding their occupation, their insurance problems, etc. So you should address that. And you should ask them what they expect from you. Rather than asking directly, indirectly they can ask. For example, somebody coming with a headache for the last 5 years. What they want may be an explanation for the headache rather than a complete cure. So try to understand the ideas, concerns and expectations, and according to that you modify your behavior and actions. So finally you summarize. You tell the patient, okay, I taken your history, these are the information. For example, you had chest pain which is in the central region, it radiated to the neck, left arm, you had sweating, and this pain lasted for more than 30 minutes. Am I right? So something like that you summarize, and then you say, okay, this pain appears to be that of a cardiac problem, you need investigations, at present you are stable and there is nothing to worry at present, let us have next investigations and physical examination and investigations. This is how you summarize. And while the patient is giving the history, try to avoid looking at the paper and start writing. There should be a way to form the notes. In the next session, we will discuss about how to write the notes so that later that can be converted into proper history without distracted from the patient's history and without patient losing the interest in talking with you. So with this introduction, we will go to the proper part of the history taking. We can divide the history taking into mainly 2 sessions. One is related to the presenting complaint and history of the presenting complaint, and the rest everything together. It is because presenting complaint and history of the presenting complaint are the most vital things. They are dynamic. Here you make the patient narrate and give the story. Rest of the things are usually standardized questions, you can ask them and just complete it. So remember, in history taking, presenting complaint or presenting illness and history of presenting illness are the most vital parts. And in the next session, we will be discussing on the presenting complaint and history of the presenting complaint. So hope you understood the basics, that is introduction to the patient, method of taking the history, how to summarize the history. Okay.